Hey guys, so I am Jen Guinea. I either sponsored you on with our brokerage or you were referred to me from either a fellow military network agent or someone in the state of Texas. Somehow you have been connected with me, and so this is our phase one of kind of the mentorship program. I created a multiple step series so that you can be productive even on your own time, because you're probably transitioning from another job, so your hours might be a little weird, and so it's hard to get everyone on all these multiple one-on-one calls. So you can do this kind of at your pace, and then we'll be doing group work together so that we can grow you as an agent. So I'm gonna go kind of what the first phase is, and that is you and I meeting each other. So probably the first biggest step that we are going to take is we are going to hyper-focus on your sphere of influence, because that is where your most organic growth is going to be, and lead generation is by far one of the most important things you're gonna be doing as a brand new agent, because we need to be having a certain amount of touches every single day in order to grow your network. So we're gonna network, and we're gonna practice lots of daily tips with that. I'm gonna send you a really cool program that I learned from another broker, and it's called the 6-Figure Day, and it's a point system, and we'll get that through email, and you will going to use that religiously so that you can grow. But we also are gonna be focusing on your why. I personally, I know you can't see it in this video, but I do have a board over here, and on my board it specifically says what my why is and why I push through the crappy moments of real estate. Real estate is not super glamorous. You have your highs and your lows, but if you have a really compelling reason to be working every day and waking up to breathe every day, you are more likely to follow through on your commitment. My why is my boys. So I want to show them a strong female leader, because that is extremely important to me, because for so long I was just Matt's wife. And so my biggest thing is I wanted to walk into a room and I wanted to be introduced as Jen. This is Jen. I didn't want to be called Matt's wife. So that's my biggest why. So we will work on that together for you, and the importance of that. So whenever we have that why, it definitely keeps us driven to stick with our goals. And so kind of our top big things that we're going to be doing is networking, focusing on our why, and then growing our sphere, because that is called our avatar. And we will spend some one-on-one time creating our avatar. And our avatar is essentially the ideal client who we would like to have. You want to be able to relate to people. You want to be able to have some common interest. The best way to grow in your growing your network is just being yourself, getting out there and living your life. And further on down in our mentorship program, we're going to speak about how we schedule our days. And I will teach you how I schedule my day, how I schedule my monthly calendars, because that is very, very, very important, because that is what's going to help. It's called reverse engineering. You're reverse engineering your goals. We're gonna get your goals, so we're gonna network, we're gonna grow our sphere of influence, we're gonna focus on our why, and we're gonna reverse engineer all those things to create how you're gonna become successful in real estate, because it takes time, lots of time. It's what you do today will impact your paycheck 45 to 60 days from now, and that's just a fact. If you choose not to work today, know that you probably chose not to get a paycheck 45 to 60 days from now, and that's okay, because you shouldn't be working every day. But know that your daily routine is what's going to grow your network, and it's going to grow your sphere, and then organically you are going to grow, and before you know it, you're going to be surrounded by an amazing group of people who are organically referring you. It just takes time and it takes effort. Alrighty, well, we've probably made it our first little meetings together, getting us into our group settings for all of our training. And kind of next is you should have already logged into your Mind Flash and you've started your mentorship program, because this is where it's going to start coming into downloading all of these programs that EXP has to offer, and it's going to feel very overwhelming at first. The hardest thing probably starting into real estate that I get a lot from students is that they feel overwhelmed. There's so many things to go, so many steps to go, that it's just too much. So we kind of like to just make it simple, stupid, right? That is the best way to do things, in my opinion, because we don't want to overcomplicate things. So just follow your checklist. There is a checklist for a reason. Do one step at a time. Don't feel like you need to complete all of it within 24 hours. One step at a time. Take notes. Go slow. Go at your own pace. and write down questions as you're going through your mind flash. Make the questions for me, because what I love to do is I'll have you send me emails. Hey, next time we have a one-on-one, these are the questions that I'm interested in answering. Because guess what? I might be a mentor, but I also don't have the answers to everything. So I also might need time to look things up, because maybe it's a new program. Maybe I don't use that program as much. I'm be real honest, I don't use KV Core that often. I am not that great with those type of CRMs. So it's okay that I don't do that, because there's 1,000 different ways to do things in real estate. And that's what you're gonna learn as you start downloading all these programs. Hey, this is working for me, but this is not. Don't force yourself into loving a program that is not working for you. There's gonna be a different one. Just Google it. You can Google anything these days. There's going to be a YouTube video about it. There's 1,000 ways to real estate, and it's about finding what's going to work best for you. So in the beginning, on your mind flash, I need you to download all the stuff. It literally has all of the steps. Follow the checklist. Do not deviate off that checklist until you and I have spoken again, or we're in our group setting and we can all talk about what's working for us and what is not. So that is where you're gonna set up your realtor.com profile, your Zillow profile, your email signatures. There are so many different things you can get off Etsy for like email signatures. Open up an Etsy account, open up a Canva account, go ahead and get those things. And you can, instead of spending hours designing this special signature, either use in the EXP marketing the email signatures that's given to you. Honestly, in the beginning, just do that. Just make it simple in the beginning. Don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel is already working for people. There are millions. I think there's like 3 million real estate agents right now in our country. You are not the first one to come up with an email signature. Okay, and so within your Trackstar and your checklist, and as you're downloading EXP World, you're, just click around and things, especially when you get into your EXP World. Oh my gosh, it is really cool. So you're just click on the left-hand side and scroll down. Just walk around. Just walk around EXP World. Talk to the person who's standing next to you. There's a little button for your microphone on the bottom left of the program. Unmute yourself and just say, hey, I'm new here. Someone tell me where to go. They might walk you to the beach. They might walk you to the mountains. They might take you on a roller coaster. I don't know. All of those options are doable. Heck, you can get on a ski boat and escape life for a little bit, but don't get too distracted with your avatar. But they're really fun things. Probably one of the most important things is to check into the university, and you're gonna see that we've got about 80 classes a week given. You guys, there's so much education that it's almost overwhelming. Go through very simple things at first. I'm gonna recommend that you just start looking at contract stuff. The more you educate yourself on contracts, the more confident you're gonna feel as an agent when you're in a house with the client and they start asking you questions, because boy, are they gonna ask you. And probably my favorite thing to tell my new mentees and new agents is, people are gonna ask you a lot of questions that you might not have the answer to, but don't say, I don't have the answer. Say, that is a really great question. I'm gonna go ahead and double check with my broker before I officially, I'm gonna go ahead and double check with my broker before I let you know, because we've had some new changes and regulations happen. They don't know. It is okay to say that, but it makes you sound more of an informed agent instead of like, oh, I'm like so new. I don't know what that is. You want to come off as confident even if you don't know the answer. And again, it is okay not to have an answer, because you're going to know how to find the resources to get your answers. You're going to know how to sign into the broker room. You're going to know how to figure out what broker is on call for the weekend. You're going to know that you can reach out to a group of us and say, oh my gosh, guys, how do I figure out if this house is septic or city? Where do you find that? Hey, well, let me pull up the seller's disclosure, and on the seller's disclosure, it will say whether or not there's a septic or not. Little things like that. You're not gonna know until you're in the moment, because as much training as you do, a lot of real estate is completely hands-on. So we're gonna get all these downloads, your signatures, your Facebook going, your realtor, your Zillow. It's all these, again, everything is marked. You're gonna get into your local MLS board. You're gonna acquaint yourself with all of that. You're gonna download our Lockbox app, and you're gonna figure all of that out as well. So again, follow the checklist, we're good to go. And then the next step that we're gonna do is we are gonna start goal setting. And this is where we start doing a lot of that reverse engineering, which is what I talked about in our first section. So probably one of the biggest things that we'll go over, and we'll do this definitely more in depth one-on-one, but think about it now as you're watching these videos and and taking notes, and that is goal setting. So we need to figure out, we're gonna timeline things, because again, we're gonna use that whole magic word, reverse engineering. Your whole life, you're gonna start learning how to reverse engineer, because we're gonna make these goals, but we've gotta learn how to break these goals down in order to make them attainable. Because if you don't break them down to make them attainable, you're gonna feel defeated, lost, and you're not gonna be proud of yourself. You need to make small goals that you can do each day so you get momentum, you stay motivated, because if you are not seeing progress, you're going to quit. It's like the same process if you work out. When you go to the gym and you do one day of abs and you don't have a six pack of abs, did you stop going to the gym? Probably not. You probably kept going. And then after like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, you really started to see some progress, and you're like, wow, I'm really feeling this. And what happens? The snowball effect. So what happens? You probably start eating better, sleeping better. The same process in real estate. It's going to be really slow and painful in the beginning, which is why it's important for us to create these goals so that we know, you know what, I can put my head down at night because I made my 5 contacts, I made my 10 contacts, I did my follow-ups, I did my daily post, I checked my email, I booked a coffee date, I met a new loan officer, I, got tied in with my local community. And you are gonna see results 30, 45, 60, 90 days. And then it just starts going. Because every time you start one new transaction, within that transaction, you now have a new sphere, and you are gonna grow from that one transaction. You are working on your next transaction while your first transaction is happening. And that is the snowball effect. And if you stay consistent, you will see growth. But if you give up and you don't look back at your board where your why is, you will give up, and you will be I think it's like 80% who fail their first couple of years in real estate. It's not easy. People aren't going to hand you leads. Nothing's free in real estate. I always say you gotta pay to play. You gotta pay your MLS fees. Often you're gonna be buying into a lead generation system. We do have OpCity, which is an option. I've done OpCity, I've done Make It Rain. I've done social media. I've personally done Realtor.com. I paid to play in the beginning as well. I have no regrets on all the different lead generation systems I've used. Some have worked, some have not. I have spent thousands of dollars, trial and error, and you'll meet a lot of agents who have done that. But your biggest goal, and even me, when I look back on my return on investment, on my goals that I set each month for myself, I am still growing more organically through personal referrals and through getting on Facebook groups and just being people's friend and being that network and giving. Hey, what's your favorite restaurant? Hey, what's your favorite coffee shop? Who does your hair, your nails? I've even met clients because we both go to Cosmetic Laser Center and get the same Botox. To be honest, you are going to grow within people who are living the same lifestyle as you, who are you. So when we sit down and we set your goals together, I need you to think about those things. How many sales do you want? How many, what is your ultimate goal? You're going to do 1 month goals, 3 month goals, 6 months goal, 9 months goal, and a year goal. And then we're gonna break it all down to your daily habits of what you need to do to reach those goals. All right, so now we are gonna kind of quickly go over time management, probably my favorite topic, because this is where you're gonna learn boundaries. If you need a book for boundaries, there's literally a book called Boundaries. It's written by Cloud something, he's amazing. You can implement that into all areas of your life. So the importance of boundaries in your professional life is when you go to make your schedule, If you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot take care of others. You need to fulfill yourself and your own cup before you start pouring coffee for everybody else. So with that being said, when you get a calendar, you have your calendar, the first thing you're gonna do in there is you're gonna put down your workouts. You're literally going to schedule all of your vacations for the year for 12 months, unless you're like super spontaneous, but hint, when you're in real estate, the moment you leave for vacation, you're gonna get 25 calls. I don't know what the power of that is, so book more vacations and you'll actually get more clients. I'm just kidding, but really it does work that way. And you will learn that over time. So first you're gonna book those workouts, you're gonna book out your family vacations, then you're gonna book, if you have children, you're gonna book all of your things that your children need. If you've got a spouse, you're gonna book all the things that you guys need to do. So when you've got your calendar and you're booking everything, just make sure that you are fulfilling your personal commitments first. You need to be drinking enough water, you need to be eating enough. Like if you're gonna do a full day schedule of showings, pack snacks. This is a real thing. You cannot thrive if you are personally not thriving. Your business cannot thrive if you are personally not thriving. The healthier you eat, the healthier your marriage is, the healthier your relationship with your kids because you're showing up at practices, you're showing up at their games. Your whole business will bloom and it will take off. You have to live your life in order to network and create an organic flow for your business. So you need to time manage. This is the best thing you can do. I have this really good, whenever we meet, I'll teach you, I have a little Remarkable tab that I use. It looks like this, and I have a digital daily checklist that I use. Time blocking is key. I have horrible ADHD. If I do not time block my day, I am one hot mess. And I feel like there's so many tasks to do that I'm almost paralyzed. That's actually part of having ADHD, is you will feel paralyzed, and so you feel like, where do I even start because I have so many things to do? You time block. So when my schedule already has all these events in it, I already know, okay, next my meetings are gonna come, next my clients are gonna come, because you're also not gonna tell your client, shoot me a time that works best for you. No, you're gonna tell your client, at Monday at 3 p.m. I have available. Or if that doesn't work for you, Tuesday at 1 p.m. I have. Magically, people will fit you into their schedule. That's what you want to do. And it's not that you're controlling your clients, but you're controlling your schedule, because if not, real estate will control you and you will be miserable. You will burn out. We don't want you to burn out. This business will consume you if you don't set healthy boundaries. If you find that you've never done this before, get yourself a counselor. Get yourself a counselor and they will teach you, but that book boundaries should do a pretty good job. And then that way you will be set to go. But that is my biggest advice on time management. All right, so you guys, now you're wondering, I have no one to talk to, Jen. I want to grow. I'm super excited. I want to hit the ground growing. Like, where do I get these clients from? Start with your phone. You're going to start with your phone. That is your sphere. You're going to get on your phone and you're going to message 10 friends a day. Hey girl, hey man, how's it going? You are not going to talk about real estate. Nope. You are going to work on nurturing that relationship. That's step number one. And this is all going to be in your 6-figure day. It's very similar to what I'm kind of recommending today with the Build It, Grow It, Work It. You're going to use whatever CRM system works for you. And when you talk to people, you're going to put them in your CRM database so that it's doing some automatic follow-up. And maybe you create a newsletter. Kudos to you if you know how to do that. That's not a skill I have. I have a guy to do that for me. If that's something you're interested in, we'll have that talk. But you're going to put these people into your database and you're going to start realizing the more conversations that you have throughout the day, the better. And instead of looking for 10 yeses in a day, search for 5 nos. You keep calling people, you can break it down. 10 new friends on Facebook, 5 to 10 new follows on Instagram. But when you follow them, go in and make a comment on their cat, their dog, something that you have of common interest. You're gonna get on a Facebook group and you're gonna answer the neighborhood questions. You're gonna answer your favorite restaurant, all of those things. You have got to make contact with people. You are going to leave your house, whether that's to go get coffee, to go get lunch, to go get dinner. Talk to you guys, I can't tell you how many waiters I have met who are like, I'm in real estate school. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, that's super awesome. And just say, hey, I'm in real estate. If you ever want to get a cup of coffee, let me take you out to a cup of coffee. Like, you have to get out and grow. You have to grow your network, and you start with your phone, and then you start with your social media. You're not gonna have the answers to everything, because right now you are selling yourself. You're not selling a house. You are selling the relationships that you can develop, that you can nurture, so that they come to you with anything to say, I know that Jen is, oh my God, Jen's in real estate. She's so helpful. I bet you she's amazing in real estate, because they're gonna trust me because I became their friend before they became a client. And that is the best way to grow, is to be the expert in your area of your neighborhood. So know the local places and actually go to them and use them. You can actually give Google reviews. You can do up to 3 Google reviews a day on different companies. I think it's like 3 to 5 Google reviews. And people will start seeing your name like, oh, Jen's been here. She even gave a Google review. That's a real thing. Who knew? But also the company owners, trust me, they are wanting those Google reviews because they were looking at them, and they're gonna see your name. And then they might be like, well, who is this girl? And they're gonna Google you. And guess what? Your social media is probably gonna pop up. And then they might start following you. Again, every day, just keep growing and search for 5 no's. So as long as you're building relationships and getting out, you are going to grow, but you have to stay committed to the task of how many people you need to touch base with daily. So what do we do next? You now have a couple people in your pipeline who you're chatting with, but you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I bring up the whole real estate thing? So this is where, as like a brand new agent, I recommend reviewing scripts. You do not memorize the scripts, you review them, and then you make them kind of flow into a natural conversation. People are naturally going to ask you, oh my gosh, girl, thanks so much for reaching out and saying, hey, like, what have you been up to? And you're gonna say like, oh, hey, not been doing too much. This was my last vacation. Oh, I just finished real estate school. It was just, something I wanted to do, and I'm trying to dabble in it. Be natural about it, and then instantly say something back to them as far as like, what about you though? I saw on Facebook that you just went, I don't know, to Sedona, and I always wanted to know what it was like to touch a real cactus. It's probably not the brightest idea, but I bet you it hurts. Just be friendly in it. But it'll be good to do scripts, because you want them to know you're an agent, but you don't want to come off as desperate. So again, keep the conversation natural. And I will do a lot of like role playing with you at this point. We will role play like, hey, if you choose to call for sale by owners, if you choose to call our expireds, they're amazing scripts to go off of, but you also need to be able to come off genuine. One of the best things I've learned from expired and Fillsbos is, if you're gonna do a for sale by owner, you call and you basically say, hey, I have a buyer interested in your property, but my buyer prefers that I preview properties prior to them. Is there a good time that works for you? I know I said schedule everybody, but on this particular instance, you're gonna put the ball in their court. Is there a good time that I could come and see this house and you could give me a tour of your property? You want the owner to give you a tour of that property. You want them to give you all the nitty-gritty details. You want to know what kind of loan they have, depending on what market we're in. You're going to be looking for assumable loans. You're going to be looking at buy down rates. You're going to see for seller concessions that they can do all that. So you kind of want to get the good information that you naturally wouldn't get off if you were just going to go see the house and it wasn't a for sale by owner and the owner wasn't there. You're going to get details. Do they have crazy neighbors? That person is probably going to tell you, because if they aren't an agent themselves, they don't know to probably not share such detailed information. And not only that, you're rebuilding a natural rapport. And when you leave, just say, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the tour. I'm going to show these pictures and videos to my client, but I'm going to be back in touch with you to see what they say, to see if we'd like to move forward with an in-person tour. Now, if you really didn't have a client, you're gonna wait 24 hours and you're gonna call them the next day. Hey, unfortunately, the flow of the home or the living room, or hey, they were looking for, even though you had the 2-car garage, they were wanting an extended 2-car garage. I apologize, but hey, sir, I appreciate you so much. And you know what? I went ahead and looked up and I did a CMA because I do that for all my buyer clients. I went ahead and did one. Could I get your email and I'll send you the CMA for your home? I would just love to do that because you were a pleasure to meet. And honestly, sir, I hope that I can bring you a buyer. They're gonna be like, whoa. So you're gonna give. The best thing you can do in real estate is give. The more you give, the more you receive. So guess what? When their house doesn't sell in a few more weeks and they are struggling, who do you think they're gonna call? Because you're gonna follow up in 2 weeks. Hey, Mr. Smith, I saw your house still wasn't for sale. I don't currently have a buyer right now, but how do you feel maybe I came over and talked and we talked about the potential of listing and maybe something we could do? And you know what? Let's make it this. I'll even make the agreement that I'll give you the option. If you bring a buyer, you keep the commission. But if I get to sell it through my listing, I get to keep the commission. The owner's probably gonna think, they're willing to list it in the MLS for me, technically for free if I can bring my own buyer, but if they bring the buyer, it's gonna give you all the more incentive to work a little harder because you're gonna wanna get a paycheck for the work that you put in, but it's gonna show that seller that you're willing to take the risk and that you're probably gonna work really hard to get their house sold. So there's all kinds of different scripts you can use for sale by owners and for expireds. You wanna figure out, was it priced accurately, what they were doing. So in our EXP University, lots of scripts. There's actually scripts in our Facebook workplace. And you can print them out, practice, and then you and I will role play together and we'll actually do some group settings where we're all role playing together because you might get someone really spicy. How are you gonna react to that? The best thing to learn in business is to become proactive and not reactive. The less reactive you are, the better you're going to grow professionally. So that will be that'll be some good times, and we'll fumble through some scripts together, but it's okay because the more you practice, the better you'll get. So let's talk about, we have our first buyer. So you guys worked really, really hard on your lead generation. You followed through daily. Then we role played a lot and you're like, oh my gosh, Jen, I'm getting really confident in this stuff. You've been practicing the contract over and over again because the more you practice looking over that contract and reading it, the more knowledgeable and the more confident you're gonna get, which is why more clients can be attracted to you because you're gonna be like, he totally knows what he sounds like he's doing, or she totally sounds like she knows what she's doing. It doesn't mean you actually had all the answers, it just means you practice enough to get in the door. So we're gonna have Gidget here as well. And something that's a really great tool once you become more established and you've completed 5 transactions, I highly recommend becoming an accredited buyer's representative. It's a great little tool that even has more tools that's given to you in order to stay up with your daily market, in order to how to lead gen more buyers as well. I'm an accredited buyer's representative myself, and it's been a great little tool. They send you emails. I read a couple of the articles. I actually share a couple of the articles on my social media, and people are like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, she is up to date. They have no idea it was just an email sent to me that I literally just copied and pasted a link. But again, I'm showing that I'm showing up every day to work and I am informing myself. It's all about just staying informed, and anyone can do that. We have the internet. You have no excuses. So whenever you start working with buyers, we are going to make sure that you have vetted them. So the importance is, number one, how are they gonna pay for said house? So the first topic we are gonna have once you have your buyer's consultation, so you are going to create a buyer's presentation, and that is in your EXP marketing. It literally says buyer presentation, and you're gonna put your stats in there. Something that we can go through is on certain parts of it. As a brand new agent, something you can leverage is me and the rest of the group. And you're gonna say, hey, our local EXP group, they're doing 20 million in 6 months. Like, this is my team to back me up. Like, you leverage your group so that you can grow. So it sounds that you have people in your corner that are gonna help share your listing, get you into, houses that aren't necessarily on the market. So leverage, me and the rest of the team when you're meeting with your new buyers. That is absolutely okay to do as a brand new agent. So you're going to give this buyer's presentation, and in that, the very first thing you're going to go over is finances. So that's the important key of when you are getting out and networking. How many loan officers do you have? Well, legally, you need to make sure that you're giving at least 3 options. So you need to have 3 lenders who you can send and say, hey, this lender is great with the buy down program. This lender is great with VA buyers. This lender is great with whatever arm. There's now like a 357 arm. I don't know. There's so many different options. Now lenders can do multiple things, but you're going to notice some lenders will absolutely not work with first-time home buyers. They are not interested in working with people who don't have great credit because they don't implement any type of plan. I probably wouldn't give your first-time home buyer who probably has questionable credit to that lender. Have 3 others. So you always need to have a multitude, but you have to give a minimum of 3 to your buyer. So you're going to get them qualified. After they're qualified, then you're going to say, great, now we can book another session to meet, and we're going to get all of your needs and wants of a house. Because the important thing is once we know our budget, then we know what kind of house we can look for. Because there's nothing more disheartening than to go look at $1 million home when you can afford a $500,000 home, because nothing's ever going to meet your expectation of that $1 million home again. Not only that, you've now wasted your time, your client's time, and that seller's time. We're all about time management, right? You have time blocked to everything. You only have so many days and so many hours in your day. Be wise with your time. It's kind of like when you get new clients, you're dating them essentially. You are in this new relationship and you're getting to know each other, and it's super fun and warm and cozy. And then there's going to be really awkward parts where, because they're not happy with you, you're going to be secretly frustrated with them. So keep your visits meaningful. Don't linger around. Yes, have a healthy boundary. This is why we have boundaries with people. So again, refer back to that book I said in the beginning of this video. So you will have your buyer's consultations. It will start with financing because that's the most uncomfortable part to do, but guess what? You've got to do it. And don't become all weird about it. Say, listen, the only thing I need from your lender is for them to say this is what you're approved with, but I don't need to know any of your personal finances. Because some friends don't want to work with you simply because they think you're going to know all of their intimate details of their finances. I tell my clients from the get-go, I know absolutely nothing about your finances. I would like to keep it that way. And the only thing I need is the letter that says yay or nay. And then from there, we will go shopping, and we're gonna have lots of fun, and it's gonna be a great experience, and we're gonna have highs and lows, but we're gonna make this as positive as possible. So that is kind of the new tips with buyers and how we're gonna set up everything. But again, everything is in your eXp marketplace. Go to your buyer presentation. It's literally all preset, and it will put all of your information in, and then we're gonna leverage the team to help you look like a complete Betty. All right, so now you're like in the, I don't know what you call this, like the bread and butter of it. You got a listing, and honestly, this is gonna be like dream come true. All right, so you're super pumped. You get to put your sign out there. We will order your signs prior, don't worry. It only takes like 24 to 48 hours. We even have some local places you can use, and I'm sure you have local places if you're anywhere in the state of Texas to get a sign. But eXp, again, in the marketing center does have something, and they will get that sucker to you within a day or two, which is pretty stellar. There's different ways to make signs. You can put a QR code if you're gonna do that. I'll teach you how to set up a QR code thing. I actually have some for my team that I've paid for a whole year in advance. So that's a privilege of being with me, is I pay for a lot of things and you just get to use it for free. So there's debates on whether you'd like to put your face on it or not put your face. Maybe you had a logo made. You can put your logo on it, whatever little theme your little heart desires. Okay, because that's important, because now the world is meeting you and your name and your phone number. So let's get out there. So you're excited. We've got this listing. You gave a baller listing presentation, which we will create through our eXp marketplace. Again, it's already been made. You just need to put in your personalized information and kind of our sponsorship information so that you look like a baddie, like I said in the last one. So you've got this listing, and you are in the listing presentation with this client. What are you gonna do beforehand? You're going to have a CMA, okay? You're gonna come in and you're gonna have great data on this property. you're gonna have a couple of different CMAs. Why is that? Because you're gonna first do a phone consultation and you're just gonna say, hey, by the way, since you've been living there for 5 years, have you done any upgrades? You will be surprised at things that people think are upgrades. You're gonna get to their house and you're either gonna be like, whoa, this place is awesome, or you're gonna be like, whew, Godspeed, this is gonna take some effort. So, but you're gonna handle it in the most professional way ever. You're never gonna insult someone's house. You're gonna say, hey, it's recommended that we make everything as declutter-free as possible. There are different options for me in my listing presentation. I actually tell them that part of me listing their property is I give them 2 hours of my time for organization. I go to Walmart, I buy all the clear bins that they possibly need. I spend maximum of like $100, $150, and I have a labeler, and I say, hey, this is not only going to make your house look less cluttered, it's gonna give the impression that the home is bigger, cleaner, and when you move, you're gonna take that tub and you're gonna be like, dang, Jen was a genius. And they're gonna remember you because that's something that you've given them. It cost you all of $150 maybe. And it is going to be something that they have forever. And they're probably gonna start implementing that in the future. But you're also helping yourself by making their home more presentable. And it's okay to roll your sleeves up in real estate and get a little dirty, okay? So always remember that. So you've got your sign, you've done your listing presentation, all is well. You now get offers and you're like, yes, we have lots of apps that you are probably gonna have a title company wherever you live in the state of Texas, and I will show you how to use it. And you will have numbers that you can give them of estimates. When people start bringing you in offers, we will go over the contract together. Same with the buyers. Before you submit any documents, whether it's the buyer or the listing sign, I am going to oversee them. I'm going to look at them. And guess what? If there's something that comes up that I am not sure of, what are you gonna do? You're gonna call into the broker's room, because it is okay that I don't have the answer to everything. It is impossible. There are over 200 documents in real estate. It's close to 300 technically at this point. Amendments are always changing, addendums are always changing, the contract is changing every couple of years. There are new ways. Speaking of that, I have a great book that I've probably already told you. We've met in a 101, but just a reminder to get the book. That is the 38 ways to end a contract. A buyer can end a contract 38 ways in the state of Texas. It is amazing. Again, that's the importance of reading that contract over and over and over again, because when you become the listing agent, you now need to identify what that buyer's agent is doing to weasel out of the contract, because those sellers have way less options than the buyers. So now it's your time to say, whoa, we're gonna counter back with, you're gonna bring that APR up. I'll teach you all about that third-party addendum, where that is one of the best ways to get out of a contract. And I use that a lot. I haven't had to use it, but I have it set up when I make my offers that it's a way. So when you become the listing agent, you also need to be able to catch those things for your seller, because you're there to protect them, okay? And then after you close it, we will go through the whole process together, obviously. But that's when you're gonna put this sucker in a CRM, and you're gonna still keep them as a client forever. You're gonna send them those monthly newsletters. You are hopefully referring them to another state if they're military, or you now become their buyer's agent. Okay, so you've sold their house and now you're buying a house with them. Like, that's what you wanna do. For one transaction, you get 2 out of it, that's amazing. And then guess what? What are you doing within that transaction? You are trying to find your next transaction. So you are treating them so amazing that they're gonna start telling their friends about you. Oh my gosh, I had such a good experience with them. Like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bam. And also you're gonna get all their closing gifts. I'll teach you about that too, but that will be on one-on-one calls. All right, so last but not least is you'll see a section in there to go over finances and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I'm gonna say about that is I personally do not wanna know about all of your personal finances. You're an adult, and I will guide you to somebody, and that is a financial advisor. I get 0 kickbacks from this. It's just I feel that they're gonna be a lot more better than that. I'm not a financial guru, so I don't feel it's my place, but something I will tell you is your paycheck, we will talk about and go over, because you're gonna do 25% of taxes, and then you are going to, because when you get your paycheck, first you're gonna have your brokerage fees, your first 3 transactions with me, I get 10% because I'm overseeing, I'm walking you through everything, I'm doing all of this for you. And then 25% will go to taxes. You have to separate that stuff yourself. You're a 1099 now. You're not an employee. You're an independent contractor. You are your own CEO. So you have to take responsibility of these things, okay? So it's your job to teach yourself all of these things, to reach out to the right people, to grow yourself as a business professional, okay? So 25% to taxes, and then you're gonna pay yourself. And then after you pay yourself, you also need to split the pie and pay for some marketing, however budgeting you wanna do. I take 10% of my paycheck to go back to budgeting, and the rest is to pay myself. So 25% for my taxes, 10% for marketing, the rest is to pay myself. And it's to pay all of my bills and everything else. So I will give you that personal contact information of my financial advisor who I use. If you do not like him, he has other people you can use, or you might have someone of your own and you might want to get a business mentor for financing, because that I am not, I'm a real estate agent, not a financial advisor. So I hope that all of this is super helpful. Remember, we are going to have weekly group meetings. We also have individualized meetings. It is not my job to give you leads. It is my job to teach you how to grow yourself as an independent contracted agent, because we are not on a traditional team setting. I am not taking 30, 40, 50% of your income because I am giving you leads. Okay, so the best way to grow is for you to put in the work and the effort. I am here to support and to guide you along the way and to pick you up on your low days. I have no problem, because trust me, you're gonna do really good and then you're gonna get really down in the pits. Real estate goes like this. It does not go like this, and it never will. So you have to understand that. You have to learn how to budget your money. You have to learn that you're gonna have to do these daily activities in order to keep growing. And that's just, it is what it is. There isn't some magic sauce. You are not reinventing the wheel. There are so many successful people in this business. Go find people on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever it is. Find people who are relatable, who you are like, oh my gosh, that is my niche. And you will grow, but you will not grow if you don't actually take these tools that I've given you to put in your tool belt and use them. I cannot give you any more information. I cannot just spoon feed you leads, because you won't grow. But if you learn how to lead generate on your own, you are unstoppable, and you will consistently grow your income, and you will even then be able to budget and grow more, because the more money you make, the more money you throw into marketing, the bigger you get. And then before you know it, in 2 years, you'll be a mentor as well, and you'll be like, dang, I did it, and I'm really proud of myself. So I'm really excited to start this journey. It's gonna be probably a hot mess express, but it will be worth it, and hopefully it is life-changing for you, your family, and hopefully we can create some family generational wealth through real estate. It's got endless opportunities, and there's 1,000 ways to real estate. This is just one of them.